Hi friends, welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. I'm Austin, and today's video is quite a big build actually. This is sort of a farmhouse style. I tried to do some build stuff here that I hadn't really done before, and so that's kind of why I went with the style. Yeah, and I'm really happy with how it came out. The build itself took me several hours, so I had to speed it up pretty quick. So if that's something that you have trouble with within, fast video, then I apologize. But it was going to be like a 30-minute video almost, and so yeah, I had to kind of stretch it. Or shrink it, actually. And I did cut out some footage. The most difficult part of this build was trying to fill up all the rooms and make sure it just wasn't all the same. I tried to keep things unique with this build. I sort of imagined it as a farmhouse that is undergoing some renovations, so some rooms are a little more modernized than others, which I really like, because I think that's pretty real. I think not a lot of people are able to remodel a home all at once, so they sort of do patchwork, which may not be the best, but I know many people do it just because it's easier to renovate one room at a time or a couple rooms at a time. So yeah, that's how I envisioned it. And I also tried to use items and windows that I hadn't really used that much before, so I used a lot of stuff from the new pack, and I also used stuff that I just hadn't really used prior. But yeah, so I want to apologize for my voice. I know I sound pretty bad, I think. I don't know, I've just had a bad week so far with allergies, and the air quality in California, as you might know, is not the best. It's pretty terrible, and with everything that's going on, it's understandable, and there's a lot of people who are in a terrible situation. So yeah, it's just it sucks, to be honest. But yeah, so this build took me a few days to do, and I had done a couple other builds that I don't think I've put out yet. I don't know exactly when this video is going up, and who knows, if my voice sounds better in the near future, maybe I will redo this voiceover before then, so I'm just kind of talking to my computer right now. But yeah, so I wanted to have that upper deck just because, I did want to make sure I was doing things I don't typically do in builds. And I think the only build I've ever had a second level deck in was one of my earliest builds was a beachfront build in the Get Together world. I can't think of the name right now. But yeah, so this build was a lot of work. I really wanted to make a kind of small rooms, just because I typically do pretty big rooms, and some of the rooms in this build are relatively large, but others are quite small, and I was able to have a home gym, have a theater room, so it was a lot of fun with this build. And I tried to kind of get away from using the same lights in this build. But yeah, so I don't do a lot of 3-story houses. I don't know, they're difficult for me, and the third floor in this house is pretty much almost a loft space. It doesn't end up being one, but it very easily could have if I had gotten lazy. But yeah, so I do cut out a lot of the early work on the third floor. I think I actually had already cut it out. So yeah, it was just something that it made sense to get rid of because it was just like doing wallpapers and stuff. So hopefully everything in the build that I kept in is, pretty important, I think, to the build. Though as I'm watching it over, I'll probably find something that I'll realize wasn't necessarily needed. So that'll be fun, and we can look at that together. So that'll be cool. But yeah, I wanted to keep the kitchen a little kind of old-fashioned, so I used the like modernish cabinets, but with an ugly orange color. Well, it's not ugly in my opinion, but I don't know, it feels old. So that's why I did that. And I used the floor from Jungle Adventures because I really love that floor, and I always look for more excuses to use it. But yeah, then this dining room, it came together pretty quick. I do a couple touch-ups at the midway point of the build and try to add a couple more things in just because, but it was a pretty easy room to do since it was pretty narrow, and people just are supposed to eat there, so wasn't too worried. A questionable decision I made, I'd say, was putting the laundry room like right in the eyesight of the front door, but I don't know, I like how it looks. I wish maybe it was on the second floor, and I could have probably done that, but I don't know. I wanted to have something in there, and that seemed like the best bet. So yes, this is the actual master bedroom on the first floor. It's something that I've never done before, except in that beach build, just because the actual first floor was like supposed to be like the basement pretty much. But here I just kind of went with it and didn't look back, and I'm really happy with how the whole space kind of looks. It has a pretty big bathroom, a dedicated closet, and a sauna area, because who wouldn't want a sauna in their farmhouse, I guess. If you download this house, which I should mention, all my homes are available to download on the gallery, and if you were to download this one, you could always, change that room, make it a bigger closet, or really whatever. I have no qualms with that. You can change my builds however you want, and however it fits your Sims needs. That's more important. So yeah, and then I made sure to put a computer in this room, and I also think I put a TV in. Okay, so yeah, this room is pretty much, kind of the one-stop shop for all your Sims needs. I really tried to use some kind of cool wallpaper, but I just really couldn't get away with it. I tried to go with a green and orange, and then I started to feel like it was becoming more of like the Joker. So yeah, I didn't think this would fit for the Joker's house, but so I do end up changing it. Yeah, so then for the garage, since it didn't make sense to have cars, I decided to make a greenhouse, which I think came together pretty nicely. I love greenhouses and builds, and this is no exception. I'm really happy with how this one came out, and I know some people have made some really awesome greenhouses, but I think that one's probably the best that I've done, so I'm proud. And yeah, it was kind of a shock getting into this build, because I didn't think I would be doing such big builds right away. I thought I would probably do a couple tinier builds to get, back into the swing of things, but just the way things went, I found myself doing this huge build and also working on a couple other big builds. Yeah, so the living room is pretty small. I originally was going to have a longer living room, and I decided against it because it just, I don't know, it didn't make sense for the build. And at the end of it, I actually think there was a lot of space in here, and you can always add more to this room. But yeah, I kind of like how it's more tucked away, and I really tried to get away from the open concept kind of build for this house, and I'm really happy with how the overall look was. And there is no access to the backyard through the first floor. You do have to go to the second, and I think at this point in the build I already added the bar on the second floor. I might not have, so I just spoiled an upcoming surprise if I did, but yeah, I just wanted to make sure there was kind of entertainment space up there, and it wasn't just all like bedrooms and bathrooms. And yeah, I've just been really having a lot of fun getting back into building, and the new pack, Get Famous, I did not think I would be saying it, but it might be my favorite pack of the Sims 4. I just have so much fun building with all the new items. I think doing a base game Get Famous build is pretty easy, though I haven't actually, well, I did do it, but I wasn't happy with the finished product. But I think if I went back to that build and kind of touched up a few things, I would like it a little bit more. Yeah, I just love all the things it adds, and I wish there were a couple other items maybe added, but I can't complain because this pack really just has so much. And I was a fan of Seasons and Cats and Dogs, but I don't know, this one just kind of took me by surprise, so that's really cool, in my opinion at least. Yeah, so I'm just kind of starting work on the other rooms, especially on the second floor. I already did the theater room, which I really liked. Even though I forgot about it in the screenshots, I hadn't actually finished all the wallpaper in that theater room, but after the screenshots, I did end up putting down wallpaper. So, yeah, if you download this house, it will have pretty much all the necessities. I even think I went over and added a couple more clutter items after the fact, after screenshots, but not a ton. So yeah, there's still, about 3 minutes left. I'm not quite sure yet about posting schedule. I don't know. It's been quite a while since I've had to even think about posting schedules. It was, nice to take a break, but man, after a month, I just wanted to come back, but I couldn't figure out how. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know. I just felt like I had when I had stopped uploading and doing everything, I hadn't really notified anybody, so it just kind of disappeared, and I wasn't quite sure how to come back. Even when I did get back onto Twitter, I kind of just sat there for a couple days, trying to type up a tweet, letting people know, and it was tough. I just didn't know what to say. But I'm really happy to be back, and I know I'm not super active on Twitter. You can always follow me though. I am trying to become more active on Twitter. It's just, I don't know, it's really tough. I don't know. I don't think I have a lot of great insights to share. So but yeah, it just tends to be pretty much me liking and retweeting a lot. Yeah, so this build is almost done. Really, I'm finishing up the last couple of rooms and finally doing that bar that I had mentioned earlier. I'm really happy with how this bar came out. It's has some nice seating, and I could definitely see the space working for entertainment. And I actually forgot before I finished this build, but I really should add a TV in that space just because that sounds fun. And then, yeah, a little workout room with a treadmill and stuff. This house costs about 200,000 simoleons, so it's quite expensive in comparison to some of the other houses I've built, though I think some people, when they have houses of this size, theirs can become, quite expensive, and so I'm happy, that it's not super expensive, but it is still quite up there. But yeah, so now these screenshots are hopefully showing up right now. I tried to keep the screenshot section short, so I wasn't able to have screenshots for every room, but I hope you enjoyed kind of seeing some of the rooms that may not show up on the screenshots. I know I tend to cut out a lot of bathrooms just because they sometimes look the same. But yeah, so just a couple seconds left in the video. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and if you are new to the channel and you want to subscribe, I highly recommend it, since I don't know. No, anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.